We haven't moved forward with phase 2 or 3 at this point. That would be developing documents and then actually putting it out to bid. But this is an initial, just conceptual type thing to try and figure out where we're at, what we could do, what space needs we have, that type of thing.
So is there actual drawings yet or anything?
I've got some very preliminary stuff. I want to have more discussion with them because I'd like them to be a little bit further along before I send them to you guys, but yeah, we've got them.
Sure. No, I'd like to see, like I said, yes, you guys are in the office, but we do want it to be where it's still a working area and get people through and obviously use the space wisely.
Absolutely, and I think that's the biggest part of it, is that right now, I just feel like we are not able to provide the customer service level that we need to in our current office space. So I think the goal would be to get something where people could come in, they'd have a place to sit down. You know, hopefully over here, we'd be able to have separate rooms to be able to meet with individuals if we needed to, so that it's not dragging them all the way through the building or this or that. So tried to put some thought into some of that.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Yep.
I also had a question about, I'm sorry, Don, go ahead.
No, I want to go back to that foundry.
Okay.
Bill.
Softwater City, I see that we have 3 deliveries of salt. I guess I'm curious, is there a reason that we're not getting it local or picking it up ourselves with
You know
one of
what?
the city trucks and pallet from Ace Hardware and,
When we looked at it, it was just, we knew that it was gonna get filled this way and taken care of. I was just concerned that by the time we got a truck, we ran over there, we did everything, it was just gonna cost us more. I think those 3 are for 3 separate deliveries, because I don't know that we've had, I'll have to look closer at it, Rich, to know exactly, but it was, I think it's, I wanna say it was $3 or $4 a bag more than what we could buy it for, to have them just bring it in, deliver it, you know, take it down the stairs, put it in, and be done with it.
and I get it. You know, we used to have an employee from the streets department that it wasn't always, but typically it would be like a rain day or it was like a Friday
Right.
scheduled where that person would come over to City Hall. I mean, a cart or whatever. Yes, it's gonna go down the basement here for this one, and then the elevator to go to the basement of City Hall.
Right.
So, we did it before, so, but I agree that we no longer had an employee that was dedicated to be doing it, but
Right.
I would think if we have employees that could still do that and a vehicle to pick it up, it might be worthwhile to look into doing it in-house, save some bucks.
Okay. We could look at it.
And my only other question is, I saw we rekeyed the street department.
Yes.
Why was that?
We were having a problem with somebody leaving the thing open, so we're not sure who was going in there at night. We don't know if it was the Historical Society or who it was. So, but somebody had gone in there a couple nights in a row and left the door open, so
So it's the old fire department?
it's the old fire department. So
Okay.
we don't know if it was just an old key that was floating around or what it was, but that's why
Okay.
we did it. It was a security issue.
Okay. Is that was that one of those locks that you had to lock it with a key also?
I believe so.
Because it's a glass door, right?
I think so.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, Nick
Thank
came
you.
and talked to me about it, but he said after the 3rd time it happened, he was like, this is crazy. Somebody's getting in there and we just can't have that sit open overnight.
I
So-
get it. Nope, appreciate it.
Yep.
Let's go back to the foundry. I know we had to order 12 or 14 more. Are we getting our names, like the City of Sandwich, stamped into them?
You know, Don, I don't have that answer for you.
Because I'm thinking if those were obviously stolen,
Yep.
and any reputable scrapper would see City of Sandwich, we'd be getting a call.
You would hope.
And
Right.
But
any reputable scrapper should
wouldn't
be
take them anyway.
correct. They
Well,
shouldn't be taken at all.
Anywhere you take them, if you take them, then the scrapyard usually doesn't allow it.
Right.
You know, they'll not let them go through because they know they're probably stolen.
I imagine there was a report made, so we have it documented.
Yeah, there is a
So-
police
There is,
report.
yeah.
Well, can you find out, see what it would cost to have our name stamped, City of Sandwich in them?
Sure.
Try to make that standard procedure. You burned us, somebody burned us once, let's not try to get
It'll
burned
cost
again.
more than 5,000,
Well, no,
Yeah.
well.
because you gotta change the pattern, so it's expensive. It's about $10,000 for a pattern.
That's,
I just had one made not too long ago.
I'm sure that, yeah. And it's a good suggestion. I mean,
Yeah.
if the council wants us to look at that, that's fine, but I'm sure Nick didn't even consider it because it was probably a big upcharge.
Right.
Okay.
So, But it's certainly something to consider.
Rich, did you have anything more? No. Okay. New business, approval of minutes for July 7th, 2025. We all good with that? Okay,
Yeah,
yes.
the finance minutes.
Okay, can I get a motion for that?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. And then any audience, oh, I can talk. Any audience comments?
I do have something I'd like to bring up for new business.
Okay.
And if you've already discussed it, I apologize. But since we had been talking about the per diem meal replacement, I know we're going to be talking about this in committee of the whole, but since it started here in finance, I am okay with the amount, with the new governmental amount to do that. But I think we need to break out those definitions of the breakfast, lunch, dinner. No idea where that information came from. I left a message today for the person that put it together, but the breakfast has always been only given with an overnight stay. The wording of it now basically says that anybody required to be traveling before 7 a.m. Would be eligible for reimbursement for breakfast. Anybody going to a class anywhere basically is going to be on the road before 7, and I think we're just opening up a can of worms. If you're leaving to drive an hour or 2 hours, whatever it is for a class, you're going to make arrangements to eat breakfast before you go. You're getting up earlier anyway. I think we're putting a clock, a time limit on it. I think that's silly. We've never done that before. I don't think we should start now. Again, I don't know where that information came from or why it was included in the paperwork, but I think it would definitely need to be pulled out. Lunch, I'm not concerned about because if they're there, they're there. I mean, typically a class is gonna be a 8-hour affair for a class or a seminar or whatever. And obviously the dinner, again, that's gonna be going with the overnight stay where someone's staying somewhere, they're there till the next day. Yes, they're gonna get reimbursed for dinner. But just because they're on the road at a normal dinner time, I mean, anybody that's got kids and are in sports, sometimes you're not eating till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. There's other people that you don't have anything going on. You might be eating dinner at 4 o'clock. So again, I would definitely want the breakfast stuff removed and also the dinner part. Otherwise, I'd be good with it, but that's just my opinion.
So just breakfast and dinner if they're doing overnights?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, and just so you know, I probably added those because I was trying to get something in there to define it, because that's been where our issue has been, is how do we define this? How do we define when we're going to do it or when we're not gonna do it? So if you guys wanna take that out, that's perfectly fine with me.
It was
I
already
just wanna
defined,
make
Jeff.
sure.
How is it not defined when it says an overnight stay,
Well, that's fine, I'm just saying that
right? I mean, you understand an overnight stay.
I do
then they have
understand an
breakfast,
overnight stay. but
Then they
is
have
that-
dinner.
I feel like I looked at so many different ones through this, I may have lost track as to what it said
I
originally.
get
So I was
it.
just trying to give something, if you guys don't like it, take it out. And if it says overnight stay, that's cool too, I don't care, I just want us to know.
What I don't want to happen is us just blindly pass it, and all of a sudden now we're realizing later.
Yep.
Kind of like contractual issues where it is what it says. So I just want to get,
Yeah, just to comment on that, like, Rich, I understand where you're coming from on the overnight stay component. I think that maybe you could put an over-under on, like, on the breakfast. Like, let's say that the seminar starts at 7 and you need to leave like 3 hours, you got a 3-hour drive or whatever. It's gonna be cheaper to have that person come in early and leave and go drive to wherever versus staying the night. So like if you have to start your travel 3 hours prior to normal start time, and same with the tail end of that. So like, let's say that you're coming back from a trip, but you're not staying the night, and maybe your flight comes in at 5 o'clock, and by the time you get your bags, it's 6, and by the time you drive home, it's 7 or 8. once again, now you're several hours past your normal work hours. I'm just thinking that if you did 3 hours prior to your start time, 3 hours after your start time, then that would cover it in conjunction with the overnight.
These people are also getting paid probably overtime or comp time on top of, so
Yeah, and-
they're gonna be paid for their travel time
Yeah,
in
and,
most cases.
and that's an FLSA deal, so so.
No, I get that, but what I'm
that-
saying
But
is,
it's a separate entity, is what I'm getting at. So the pay is a separate component to the meal reimbursement.
correct, no, I understand that,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm just saying, is it really worthwhile to be giving somebody $18 breakfast when they're getting paid 50,
Well, up
Some
to
dollars.
Up to $18.
up to
But that
$18,
actually-
whatever the amount
Yeah.
was, but I was just saying in general, but.
Because the receipts are still
No,
required.
again, I'm happy with the increased amount, and I'm getting what they're supposed to have. I just don't want to lock ourselves into something
Yeah,
that.
I would just feel bad if somebody had to, like, they left several hours before their normal start time. It's early in the morning, you're not gonna get up even earlier to make yourself breakfast, so you're on the road, you stop, you grab a McDonald's sandwich and you go on type of thing. I mean, it's kind of
Yeah.
like a little split,
I
happy
know.
medium. That'd be my only take on it.
Well, the last time I was in Chicago, rather than spending an extra $230 to spend the night, I had dinner and left at 10 o'clock. Under this, I would not be able to be reimbursed for dinner. I left late because it was cheaper than staying overnight. So, but that was, and then in that case,
Yeah.
I got a medium fry instead of a small fry, and it was $23, so I only got $20 back. So, it's just one of those things that no matter how we write it, there's going to be exceptions to it, but I want this as clear as possible, because
Sure.
I don't want to make a mistake with it, and I don't want to be telling staff
And-
that they're, wrong for doing it one way or the other.
And I would rather us keep it, like you said, you've got the rules and you're following the rules, but then we can make an exception for when there are those kinds of things. We used to have the option, if I was going away for a week's school, and if it's in Evanston, I'm certainly gonna go up on a Sunday night for a class that starts at 8 o'clock in the morning, because I don't want to drive in that Chicago traffic that early in the morning. So we go up on the Sunday night. So I get that, but if somebody chose to, because family things or whatever else, they wanted to go ahead and get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and drive, again, they could save the city, hotel stay or whatever. And again, that's gonna be up to the individual to make that kind of choice as far as when or how they're gonna do it. Kind of like what you did, as far as coming back later rather than
Right.
spend the night. Yep.
Okay. Well, is that the only changes you guys are looking at for this? I mean, is this something that is that something you want to bring up in the next meeting so that we can make sure that this is,
I'd like the whole council to be involved in it. Obviously, I just
Okay.
brought it up during finance because this is kind of what it stemmed from.
Yeah.
And we just gotta make sure that whatever gets put into the personnel ordinance for the amendment is what we want.
okay.
Okay, before audience comments, can I get a motion to send the bills to council for $97,342.88?
I'll make that motion.
Get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, they'll be sent. And then do we have any audience comments?
Okay, so speaking as, I would like an answer, obviously. I had talked to Jeff the other day about, did we have insurance on those grates for the sewer department out there with the police report? We do,
Yeah, but he said they
and
don't.
it's $1,000 deductible.
They
It
don't
is,
se-
but when I talked to the insurance company after that, they said typically,
Not
we
until
try
after
not to
10,000.
do unless it's a $10,000 or more loss. Because we are self-insured with all the other municipalities.
What would be the deficit,
What do you mean the
other
deficit?
than 4,600 and some odd dollars?
Right, but if the other 14, if all of the 14 municipalities that are part of this each have, because I find that they file a lot more claims than we do. If they each have 8 of them and they're 5,000 apiece, that's 40,000 times 14, and it ends up eating it up. That's why amongst the members of the group, And for property things, if it's not over 10,000, we try not to file a claim on those.
Okay, so what's the name of that insurance company?
It's the Illinois Municipal Insurance Cooperative.
And I know I'm not on the board, but I've been going over this food thing that you guys have been talking about hours upon hours upon hours upon hours. And the numbers, if you crunch all the numbers and don't play games with it and don't want to mess with the contract, if you just gave each person $45 straight per day, it'd be cheaper than raising it to 16, 19, and 28, and spending hours upon hours looking at times, days, who was there early, who didn't go there early, because you're still tying the hands of finance and our accounting to check their times and their dates, and did they leave early, did they stay the night? So I guess that would have been my suggestion if I was doing it, is you just cut the bullet and say $45 a day and don't argue about the times and everything else, and people get paid.
Anybody else? Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Make that motion.
Second.
You second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You opposed? Okay, we're adjourned.